With that said, I'm going to do a quick intro for who the team is on today's webinar, and then we'll dive into the agenda for what our time together is going to look like. Speaking is obviously Jerry Van Dal. I'm a sales manager here at SmarterCommerce. We're joined also by Diego Fernandez, who is our director of product, as well as Fermin Rodriguez, who's a managing director here at SmarterCommerce. Really excited about the topic that we've got prepared for our audience today. As you noted in the title, the focus is really going to be around creating a winning strategy for organizations that are interested in launching B2B e-commerce, particularly organizations running JD Edwards. So let me do a quick snapshot of what our agenda is going to look like, and then we'll just dive right into the content itself. Before I do that, let me take a step back. Just a couple of housekeeping items. We welcome any questions from the audience. The easiest way for you guys to submit that to us is going to be through the Q&A button on the Zoom panel. You should see a button that allows you to ask questions. Our entire team of panelists will then be able to review that and then provide responses to you. We'll be doing that throughout the webinar today. We may have a couple of minutes at the end of our time together to go through any additional questions, but most of the questions are going to be handled through the Q&A tool here in Zoom. So just a quick note there, in case there's any folks wondering, yes, this webinar is being recorded. We are going to upload it and then share it with all the folks that registered and attended. And of course, you are free to share that with the rest of your team. Excellent. Well, just a quick snapshot of what our agenda is going to look like. Really, the key topic that we're going to be talking about are 5 pillars for creating a winning B2B e-commerce strategy. We'll spend the bulk of our time together talking through each one of those. I'll talk very briefly about who we are as an organization. And then Diego Fernandez is going to spend a few minutes covering a demonstration of how SmarterCommerce customers have tackled some of the different elements in our strategy, as well as a deep dive into some of the capabilities that promote some of the things that we'll be discussing today. I'm so excited for what we got on the agenda today. With that said, I'll go ahead and dive in. Hopefully it's not news to anybody that B2B e-commerce has exploded in growth. Obviously, since the pandemic, these numbers have just been going up. And it's absolutely critical that JD Edwards organizations can keep up with this B2B e-commerce growth. The last thing we want is for JD Edwards organizations to be left behind in this domain. Just a quick snapshot, we hear from Forrester that by the year 2027, B2B e-commerce in the US, not even globally, in the US is projected to reach an estimated $3 trillion, which really is a staggering amount of commerce happening through these digital channels in the B2B world. We're used to seeing these big numbers in the B2C space, but it has been for the past few years a significant number in the B2B space as well. Additionally, more and more B2B buyers, that is, the folks using the B2B e-commerce platforms, are now seeing an e-commerce platform as an expectation. And for some organizations, it's actually becoming a competitive advantage. What this means is that a customer of yours may continue to prefer doing business with you or a competitor based on whether or not they have access to a B2B e-commerce platform. It's not just us saying this, right? It's the B2B buyer report for 2024 made the observation that almost 80% of B2B buyers say that they prefer to place, especially repeat orders online. These are orders that are routine, that they place on a regular basis. The preference is just a digital channel. And so the main point here is just, hey, for JD Edwards organizations that are maybe not ready to go into the world of B2B e-commerce, you have to realize that most likely your competitors are already there. Hundreds of JD Edwards organizations have already moved in this direction. It's absolutely imperative if you want to keep up with the pace of today's change. No doubt, e-commerce continues to disrupt traditional channels like phone calls, emails, things of that nature. And it's now become an expectation for your customers. And instead of letting this be an area where your competitors can get ahead of you, it can be an opportunity for you to develop your own competitive advantage. Of course, easier said than done. And we're kind of left with this key question. Hey, how can JD Edwards organizations adopt a strategy that'll really focus on growth, on getting their existing customers to start using digital commerce as one of the primary channels? And of course, there's a lot of research and a lot of things that could be said. Time does not permit us to dive into all of these different areas. But what we want to do is share 5 strategy pillars. The idea here is to help you start thinking in different categories that are going to drive successful B2B e-commerce. Maybe you're in the audience and you're thinking, hey, we run JD Edwards Enterprise One and we've toyed with the idea of B2B e-commerce, or maybe you're already you're planning to launch a platform, or maybe you've already launched a platform and you want to ensure that this platform is successful. In e-commerce, there's a lot of potential for new growth. These are new customers that may find you online. What we're going to be focusing on our webinar today is how to focus on driving customer adoption. How do you get your existing customers to stop using the channels that they've always used and adopt a new platform that's going to better their customer relationship, improve their customer experience, and ultimately give your team more time and resources to go pursue new customers? So like I said, we've got, we've kind of organized our thoughts around 5 strategy pillars. Some of these will probably be intuitive. Hopefully some research will kind of help give a sense of how important some of these are. So with that said, I'll go ahead and dive in. Number 1 is, I've just kind of summarized it as, hey, give customers a reason to adopt, right? Sometimes we forget that even a B2B buyer, a B2B customer is a consumer also. They need a compelling reason to change their behavior and to start using a digital platform. So if you've got a customer who always calls Sally from the customer service team to place their orders, and now you're telling them, hey, you have to start using a digital channel, there has to be a compelling reason for them to do that, right? And in the same way, JD Edwards organizations looking to launch e-commerce have to develop that compelling reason and communicate it to the customer. You can't just assume that because, hey, we're launching e-commerce, it's going to save us money, it's going to grow sales. That's a compelling reason for your organization to get into e-commerce. And it may not necessarily be compelling enough for your customers to start adopting the platform. So that's kind of the main idea here, right? A few reasons to help customers understand why they should adopt an e-commerce platform. Number 1, you'd be surprised how many times we hear customers launch an e-commerce platform and then their customers don't know about it. Either because our customer, this JD Edwards organization, maybe they don't know that the site is live, they don't know the capabilities, they don't even know where to get started or how to log in. So many reasons why customers miss communication. But a really obvious place to start is, hey, if you're launching e-commerce, make sure your customers know. Put it on a billboard, put it inside of your emails, put it on your email confirmations. Make it part of what the customer service team is talking about whenever they engage with a customer. You have to clearly notify customers that the e-commerce site is live, we're heading in this direction, and these are all the reasons why you should be on this platform. Additionally, another note, sometimes customers don't really understand how a B2B e-commerce platform is going to make their lives easier. They just think that it's a tool that, that your organization is pushing on them, and they don't really have a compelling reason to go there. But that's not the reality. The reality is that B2B or buyers, your customers, they want to go to the e-commerce. And sometimes all you have to do is take a little bit of time and highlight some of these broader benefits. What are some examples of broader benefits? Well, first and foremost, you have 24/7 access. If your customers are relying on a phone call to answer their questions, then if it's the middle of a holiday or if it's after office hours and maybe they're in a different time zone, they have to wait till the next calendar day or next work day or business day to get that question answered. It's not the case with e-commerce. With e-commerce, they can log in at any time of the day, night, and answer their own questions. That's one example of a key benefit that for a customer that your organization can highlight for them. So make sure they understand, hey, why is this a good idea for your customers to start using that? Additionally, we've seen some customers get really creative with promotions and discounts. Some examples of that could be, hey, if you use the e-commerce platform to place an order, we're going to give you a 1% discount. We're going to give you free shipping on the order. And that kind of gets customers interested enough to start using the e-commerce platform and then quickly realize that it's very convenient, intuitive, helpful, and then customer adoption can increase from that point forward. But getting them interested, at least initially with that promo, with that discount, sometimes is a very effective way, a very effective reason to give your customers the opportunity to adopt it. And then, at times we've also seen customers get much more direct. I can think of one customer that had a certain category of customer, much smaller customer, profit margins were not very healthy with this one customer category, right? They just had a lot of smaller mom and pop shops that were sort of clogging up the sales process, the call center and so on. And so they said, hey, look, smaller customers, if you're in this, ABC category of customer, basically you have to start doing business with us on the e-commerce platform exclusively. If you want to keep doing business with us, it's going to have to be through the e-commerce channel. If not, we just can't do business with you. Obviously, that's sort of a last resort, and it needs to be deployed strategically. The last thing you want to do is send a message to the customer to say, hey, if you don't do it our way, it's going to be the highway. That's never the intention. But sometimes there are moments where you can tell customers, hey, we've had this platform live for 2 years. Pretty much all of our customers are using it. You have to start using it for X, Y, Z functions. So, if you're looking at launching a successful e-commerce platform and making it a big hit with your customers, you have to be clear about the benefits for why your customers should adopt this platform. Number two, don't underestimate the importance of web design. And I don't think I have to say that to this audience. Most of us probably work in the business world, in the world of IT, and we know the difference between getting to a website that looks like it was designed in 2005, where everything is really hard to find, everything is really slow, it's not intuitive at all. The difference between that experience and then getting to a website that looks beautiful, that's so intuitive in the way that you scroll up and down, that helps you find the information so quickly. Your B2B customers have similar experiences when they start working with your e-commerce platform. This point of web design has been a little bit of an Achilles heel for a lot of B2B organizations in the past. But again, all of us know instinctively the importance of web design. What are some key benefits around investing in web design? First and foremost, it helps reduce customer churn, right? One interesting study by Amex showed that 67% of B2B buyers have switched from one vendor to another because they have a better consumer-like experience. When we talk about consumer-like experience, we're talking about the Amazon-like B2C type experience instead of the clunky B2B experience many of us are unfortunately familiar with. It's not just about making it look nice. And sometimes we fail to understand the importance of design and we kind of summarize it as, hey, we're going to invest XYZ time and resources into making the website look nice. Does that really make a difference? The answer is unequivocally yes. 67% of your customers are telling you that, hey, if another vendor has a better experience, that might be a reason for them to switch over. And then secondly, ultimately making it easy for customers to do business with you online through a positive web experience or web design reduces the cost for that customer to answer their own questions, right? If you're on a platform and it's not easy to answer questions, and it's difficult to use and the design is not helpful, guess what? You're just not going to want to use the platform anymore. And that affects the way that your customers see your platform, right? Good design fundamentally establishes trust through professionalism, consistency, clarity, credibility, and connection, right? All of these things are wrapped up into how you choose to present yourself online. And you see the stat there, obviously, from Stanford's Web Credibility Research, that self-service can actually save your team and reduce costs by up to 75%. What does that mean? It means if your customers love the e-commerce platform that you're putting out into the world, if it's featuring the design elements that are key and helpful, it means that your self-service costs can reduce significantly, even by up to 75%. And then last but not least, it's about building credibility. Everybody in this, in this webinar, when we hear about a new company, a new customer, and we start doing research, one of the first places we go to visit is their website. Why? Well, because we can tell within a couple of minutes of exploring a company's website that how credible this organization is. Are they serious? Do they take their online presence seriously? By being able to offer a web design that is professional and credible, your customers are going to be much more willing to trust not just your credibility, but the credibility of the solutions that you're putting in front of them. So again, in summary, the key here is, man, don't underestimate the importance of web design. If you guys are interested in launching a successful B2B e-commerce platform, web design has to be one of the things that you're thinking about. Web design is not one size fits all, right? The ideal here is not for everybody to look like Amazon. That's not realistic. That's not helpful. But doing your homework and seeing, hey, what information do customers prioritize? What kind of experience do we want to put out there? And then building out your B2B e-commerce to match that, that's where you're really going to see the benefits of good web design. All right, the third, let's call it pillar for a strategy, really revolves around providing reliable information. Ultimately, when your customers interact with you online, the trustworthiness of your organization hinges on how trustworthy the information is that you provide for the customer. And providing trustworthy and customer-specific information is absolutely critical if you want to build that platform trust. If you're getting customers to adopt the platform, you're getting customers to trust you online, and you want them to use the platform, providing 100% reliable information is critical. There's an interesting survey that was done here around, it's a Forrester Red survey. They interviewed, I think it's 500 B2B organizations about the platforms that they were using and asked them, hey, which of these personalized data points do you need from your supplier when ordering online? And these numbers are staggering, right? It's an absolute priority for them to have their agreed pricing, for them to have their payment rules, agreed logistical rules, specific product assortment, agreed promotions. The information that your customers are expecting online is far more specific than just a couple of images for the product and a brief description. These are B2B organizations. They're making highly complex, high dollar volume purchases, right? And this is one key distinction between B2C and B2B. In the world of B2C, you can provide a bunch of flashy images and some basic descriptions, maybe some specifications, and usually a typical consumer will be satisfied with that. A B2B e-commerce customer is going to expect a much higher amount and quality of information in order for them to feel confident to make a purchasing experience. And they expect that information not to be generic, but to be personalized, as you can tell by the results of this survey. And so if your team is going to be launching a B2B e-commerce platform, it's absolutely critical that they're not just providing accurate and reliable and trustworthy information, but that information is personalized, so that when your B2B customer logs on, they're greeted with their pricing. They're greeted with their order history, with their payment terms. They can see their payment types on file, so on and so forth. Absolutely critical. The risk here is that the minute that your B2B customers experience a subpar reliability of information on the channel on e-commerce, immediately adoption is going to decrease dramatically. And we'll get to that in just a couple of slides here. All right, the fourth pillar that we'll talk about is to help realize, hey, sometimes the biggest driver for B2B customers to adopt an e-commerce platform is actually not that related to commerce at all. And I've kind of summarized the point here as to say, B2B e-commerce is more than just commerce. Sometimes the most valuable thing that customers can realize on an e-commerce platform is actually helping them in a lot of different ways beyond simply placing an order. Again, sometimes the most valuable functionality on a B2B e-commerce site is not related to placing an order, but in fact related to price checking, inventory checking. I've listed out some examples here, right? Your team can provide educational content on a B2B platform. so that customers can get in there and do deep product research, learn about your products, how to use them, answer their own questions. Your team can put invoice payment options online so that AR folks can log in, pay invoices with a credit card or an ACH. Some of the finance folks can log in and look at the state of their account, look at their credit utilization, how much do they have outstanding, how much credit do they have remaining. Typical account management functions are also very popular in B2B e-commerce platforms so that a customer can log in, look at how many users are underneath their organization, who has permissions to what. And then, of course, customers love being able to log in and looking up information. Hey, that order that I placed last Friday, what's the status of that order? Boom, being able to answer that quickly. Being able to look up pricing, being able to look up the inventory for products that they hope to buy in the next few days. All of the things that I have just mentioned, folks, have very little to do with the actual ordering, the function of ordering on an e-commerce platform. Making a B2B e-commerce strategy successful, part of that is realizing that your customers may be using the platform for more than just commerce. They want to answer their own questions. They want to manage their own account. They want a self-service, and giving them the ability to do that is going to be a big win for them. And then the last pillar here for what it means to drive a successful B2B e-commerce strategy for JD Edwards organizations is about keeping the experience consistent across all channels. What I mean by that is that if your customer is interacting with you through a phone call, through a salesperson in person, or through a B2B e-commerce channel, they're going to be receiving the exact same experience. And so here you have a little bit of a diagram for what it looks like when that experience is different depending on each channel. Right, and a lot of organizations are like this. If you call somebody, they're going to give you one experience, one set of the truth. If you go online, you're going to get another experience. If you go in person, you're going to get another experience. And all this inconsistency ultimately leads the customers to adopt the channel where they're going to receive the most favorable experience, instead of adopting the channel that they prefer and that they believe gives them the most value. I'll give you an example of how not to do this. Okay, this past Memorial Day weekend here in the States, we celebrated Memorial Day. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Unfortunately, my car battery died on Sunday. Okay, I was out at the grocery store getting some lunch for the family, and I turned the key on the car's dead. Okay, no big deal. I have AAA. Perfect. I have the AAA application. I open up the AAA application on my phone. I put in a service request, and then somebody calls me within 5 minutes and says, hey, we're on our way. We'll be there in 10 minutes. Great. Crisis averted. 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, and I call AAA. Stop using the mobile application. Obviously, that wasn't working for me. I pick up the phone, and I talk to somebody, and they say, oh, yeah, there was a mix-up on the back end. We'll get it fixed, and now somebody's going to be 20 minutes away from you. How frustrating is that for me as the consumer? I tried using the application, the mobile app. That's what they promoted. That's what they wanted me to use. But the experience I had on that channel was subpar. I had to pick up the phone and call somebody in order for them to fix my problem. Guess what? I'm never using the app again. Does that make sense? The experience for AAA was subpar through the digital channel, and so I'm never going to use that channel again. And your customers are the same. It's absolutely imperative that instead of them having a separate experience through every channel, that they have a consistent experience through all the channels. The key message is that your customers expect a personalized and consistent experience across all channels. And if they get the same quality of experience through whatever channel, especially in the world of B2B e-commerce, if they're getting the same quality of experience on e-commerce, they're going to trust the platform. Some different examples of what a consistent payment experience looks like, a consistent e-commerce experience looks like across multiple channels, payment types. If your customers call in and they can pay with a credit card, with an ACH, a bank, a check, or they can put an order on account, it's critical that you can offer the same kinds of payment types consistent with with the phone call, offer that on e-commerce as well. If your customers have the ability to place a phone call and talk to somebody and change their email or change an address or add a ship to, all of these account type functionalities, it's critical that they be given the same level of access, the same experience on the e-commerce channel as well, so that they can log in, update a ship to, add a ship to, change their email, so on and so forth. Additionally, information visibility. If they're calling in and they can get answers to questions, then they expect for them to be able to answer those same questions through the e-commerce channel. And that's critical, right? If they start realizing, hey, when I call in, I get more information than when I log in, then they're going to stop logging in and they're going to start making those phone calls. And that's what your team is trying to push them to. You're trying to push them to adopt the e-commerce, right? And then, of course, quick response time. When you pick up the phone, typically you're going to wait 2-3 minutes to get the answer that you want. Is it quicker for that customer to log on and to look up the information themselves? If you have a responsive site, if your site is quick and loads quickly, then the customer should be able to answer their question in as much time, if not faster, by logging into the e-commerce site than if they were to make a phone call. The key here, guys, is if you want your customers to use an e-commerce platform, it's absolutely critical that you give them all of the information, the entire customer experience, to stay consistent from them making a phone call and talking to their manager, to their account manager or the customer service team, keeping that experience consistent to then be now transferred over to the e-commerce platform, so that on e-commerce, that same experience is preserved. Okay, so that was kind of a quick snapshot. Hopefully those key pillars have been helpful. In just a couple of minutes, Diego Fernandez is going to take over, and he's going to show us what some of these strategic pillars look like in the real world. And we'll be referencing some customer examples as well as showing specific capabilities in our demo site. Before I do that, I want to answer a couple of quick questions. Who exactly is SmarterCommerce? Just to tell you guys a little bit about who we are, SmarterCommerce has been in the JD Edwards space for over 30 years. We've completed well over 500 projects, throughout the course of those years. As an organization, we're based in Miami, Florida, but we've got professionals working all over the US remote, as well as an office of developers in San Jose, Costa Rica. For the last 20 years, we actually specialized and started building e-commerce, payment, and retail products that connected to JD Edwards, so that we could help organizations like your own launch successful projects by uniting those commerce channels and your ERP into one automated system. Here's a quick snapshot of some of our customers. You'll see all of these organizations are JD Edwards companies. I know we've got some customers joining us on the webinar. Super glad to have you guys. All of these organizations at one point were overwhelmed by a new project. The CEO told them they have to go to e-commerce. Their competitors are pushing them to e-commerce. Their customers are pushing them to e-commerce, and they just felt overwhelmed. There's so many great e-commerce platforms out there. Which one am I going to choose? The reality is that if you don't start with JD Edwards as a single source of truth, you're going to end up in a place feeling frustrated because of that lack of ERP connection. So what SmarterCommerce does is that we introduce an e-commerce platform that connects to JD Edwards out of the box so that your team can be in a place to be successful with e-commerce. You'll note also that some of the key strategic pillars that we shared, especially around information reliability, providing customers consistent experience, can really only be possible if you have a real-time integration to your B2B e-commerce platform. So what is SmarterCommerce? We know the who. Let's talk about the what. It's really a family of products that help, like I said, help you guys, organizations, unite commerce, payments, and retail into one simple system that connects with JD Edwards. Obviously, today we're really highlighting our e-commerce conversation and all of our experience in that domain. I've talked very briefly about the importance of ERP connection. And let me just kind of harp on this for just a minute, and then we'll transition over to our demo. What we came to realize after doing this over 20 years is that the main reason, or one of the key reasons or abilities for you to provide an outstanding customer experience is to have one source of the truth. Let me slow down for a minute, okay? What I mean is that if you guys, the JD Edwards organization, is going to be launching e-commerce in the near future, it's absolutely critical that you provide a good customer experience. And you can only do that when you have one source of the truth. When we say one source of the truth, we're talking about one source of the truth when it comes to business logic, business data. customer information, inventory, pricing, ordering, payments, reporting, all of these different domains that touch the world of e-commerce. Instead of replicating that on your e-commerce platform and then replicating it on your ERP, what SmarterCommerce does is that we leverage your JD Edwards information and functions as that single source of the truth for e-commerce. Of course, there's many things that JD Edwards doesn't do well if in the world of e-commerce, like enrich product content, images, managing documents, descriptions, things of that nature. And if in those areas, SmarterCommerce provides an entire content management approach that helps you enrich all of the JD Edwards data as well. The two big advantages to that, and then we'll transition over the demo. Two big advantages to that is, number one, it radically limits the complexity of a digital commerce project. What is the alternative? Well, if you're going to be servicing B2B customers, you're stuck living in a world duplicating the information on a standalone mainstream e-commerce platform, and then duplicating that information in your e-commerce. So that pricing needs to go back and forth. Customer information needs to go back and forth. Sales order information needs to go back and forth. Status updates for orders needs to go back and forth. And the list goes on. By having one source of the truth, that is JD Edwards, you totally eliminate the need for all of that back and forth complexity. It's addressed out of the box with SmarterCommerce. And then number two, it allows your business folks, your marketing folks, finance, customer service folks to focus on making the platform a great experience for your customer instead of being limited by the developed integration that your team had to put there in the first place, right? We empower the business to take control and create outstanding customer experiences instead of being limited by the lack of integration. Our platform, like I said, does that from day one. We have a pre-integration with JD Edwards Enterprise One, takes all of the guesswork out of where the information is coming from. SmarterCommerce uses JD Edwards Advanced Pricing so that you can provide your customers their specific pricing. They can see customer-specific catalogs, multi-currency, multi-company, multi-country enabled. You can have quotes integrated with JD Edwards, configured items through JD Edwards, enterprise search, and all this, ladies and gentlemen, robust B2B functionality with the addition of a very consumer-like experience. And you'll see in just a minute, the B2B e-commerce platform that SmarterCommerce has does not feel like it was designed in 2005. It's a very intuitive experience. Your customers can pick up on it and start using it, no problem. With that said, I'll go ahead and transition over to Diego's portion of the agenda. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You guys have probably heard me speak long enough. And Diego's going to walk us through a few customer examples of how some of our customers have taken a creative approach to embodying and launching some of these B2B e-commerce success or strategy pillars, if you will. So with that said, Diego, you should be able to take control. Maybe I have to make you a co-host. That probably would help. Okay. Let me know if you have any issues sharing your screen at that time. On that note, folks, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to continue to interact with us through the Q&A functionality here on Zoom. Like I said, that really is going to be the easiest way for you to send a question and to get that question addressed before the end of our time together. So anyways, with that said, Diego, we're looking at your screen and we are ready for your demo.
All righty. Thank you, Jerry. And well, good afternoon or good morning, everyone on the webinar. As Jerry mentioned, I'm going to be walking through the next 20 minutes or so, just some examples of what you can do and what customers have already done with our solution, pre-integrated with their JD Edwards Enterprise One solution. So let's begin with the main question that we always ask when working with our customers is, who is your customer? What are they trying to do? What are they looking for? How would they shop? What are the things that they expect in a website? And that's where we're going to take an example of one of our customers here, Dayton Lamina, and what they've done to provide an experience to their customer base, their buyers, to be able to easily find the product that they're looking for with a robust search engine where they can, start keying in specific keywords depending on their need. They can scroll through product suggestions, as you can see here, or they can just click into a search suggestions to get all of the possibles based on those keywords. Good graphics, capabilities to be able to filter down based on attributes or characteristics of your products, to be able to find that product that you're looking for. And then once you're finding it, be able to drill down and see more details of that product, whatever that may be. Being able to view images, views complete schematics and specifications of the product itself, see CAD design and drawings of these products, so that the user could appreciate and confirm that that's exactly what they're looking for, and any additional details of specifications, and be able to even download those schematics if need be. So the number one question you always need to ask yourself is, well, again, who is my customer, and what is it that they're looking for, and how do they find product on my site, and what is the experience that they need in order to be that sticky customer and utilize the solution. So this is one example of what customers have done in order to try to gain an adoption of the use of their site by providing them the tools to be able to find those products. Let's go look at another customer and what they've done. And what you'll notice as I go through, that each customer looks different, but same SmarterCommerce solution, pre-integrated with JD Edwards Enterprise One. This customer has really put a lot of effort in providing a lot of educational material to their customer base, being able to provide information regarding all of their products and offerings that they have out there, being able to really give a wealth of information and resources to their customer base to be able to find their products, to download software, download tools, view in educational materials, filter through those educational materials, and finds the specifics of what it is that they want to learn about or understand, and then request any additional information that they may need for their product. As many of their products are built to order based on the specifications of their needs, or for those that are more stock type products, obviously they have a fully integrated set of catalogs that allow their customers really to drill into the specific product lines and see all of the different products that are offered. For those that are regulated, you need to call in, they just provide information. If you can buy it, they provide pricing, all at the fingertips of the customer, while providing their experience and user intuitive experience in that B2C like fashion to their buyers. So this is another example of what a customer has done from providing educational information and detailed information regarding all of their products and product lines. Let's go look at a third customer. This customer builds and manufactures step-in vans, such that you see for UPS and FedEx, and a lot of their customer base is obviously constantly repairing or purchasing parts for those step-in vans to keep them operational throughout their life. So what did they do? Well, they took our solution and they provided a robust search based on their bill of materials, based on their VIN number of their specific step-in van. So they can type in their VIN number and search verify their VIN, their make, model, everything is correct, and then drill in to a parts list that make up all of the various components that are normally replaced and updated on their specific unit. And then from there, even go further as to filtering down based on categories of the different parts so that they can purchase the exact part that they need. Now, very important here. This isn't just a generic part. This is the specific part that they need for their piece of machinery, in this case, their step-in van that they have purchased in the past based on that VIN number or serial number or model number, be able to search, filter down, and find that specific part that directly fits their needs for their specific piece of machinery. That's the level of integration that you want to provide your customers so that they're not fumbling through. They can quickly get to what they need, quickly be able to find what they need, and be able to purchase it. Even to the point that if they look for maybe an old part that they bought many, many years ago, you want to make it accessible on the website. So here, do a search on a part. That is my part, the heater assembly. I go in and I noticed immediately that this part has been obsoleted. Well, what's the next common question? Well, if it's been obsoleted, what has it been replaced with? Well, I can easily check, replacement parts, and here is my replacement heater that would replace the one that I'm currently looking for. So I can easily drive the customer from the part that they own that's been obsoleted over time. They search for that part, they find it, and I drive them to the correct part that they need to purchase now based on their search. All of this information, where is it coming from? Well, it's coming directly from JD Edwards. Those capabilities are in your JD Edwards, and through our integration between the front end website and the back end website, JD Edwards, we're able to provide that wealth of information to the customer so that in a few clicks, they know the specific part that they need to purchase, add it to their cart, and go through and buy it. So that is the type of experience and that you want. Easy, intuitive type. You may notice again that each of these customers looks totally different depending on their industry. How do they want to go to market? All of the branding aspects to make it friendly to the user, understandable to the user. All that is part of the overall design and understanding of who is your customer. Let's see another example of what another customer did. Chart Industries, they took it a step further in that they provide all types of manuals and guides to their customer base, technical service bulletins, and all through the website, how-to videos through the website. And it's as easy as clicking through and finding the various models that they have. If they have a micro bulk, and drill down and find their specific model to be able to gain the instructional guides and product manuals right online so that they can do the work themselves. They can understand how to use it, be able to find it, be able to work with it. So as you can see, very intuitive, easy to follow, to be able to find those products. And then when I need to find the product, just like we saw with the Morgan Olson step-in van VIN search, Chart Parts here, what they've done is they've created a series of exploded views or diagrams to help their customers quickly and easily find, based on the exact finished product or end product that they purchased, and now they need to replace some parts, find specifically what it is that they need to replace, find the schematic number, and then down below order the parts based on those schematic numbers and purchase the exact components that they need so that they don't have to be worried about, is this the right part for what I'm purchasing? Do I need to call and ask? No, give them all the tools they need right at their fingertips on the website so that they can self-service themselves and be able to find exactly what it is that they require. So a lot of good examples here. Here's another example of what a customer did, is that they took it a step further and they basically have created a series of instructional guides to help their customers really understand how to use the site. So they've gone through and they've created guides here on access to my account. How do I do that? Or I want to pay my invoices online. How do I do that? And step through the various capabilities, logins, and capabilities to learn about each of the abilities that customer has and be able to guide them through all of the features and capabilities within the site itself. So these are the type of things that you need to consider to really help your customer understand your website, make it intuitive for them, and understand all of the features that are available to them so that they can take advantage of those features and not have to obviously be calling in to your call center and continue to use more phone or in-person type assistance. Now, once you've put together your website and you have it ready with all of those capabilities, you obviously need to get the word out, need to let customers know that you now are introducing a new website. And one of the things that one of our customers did is that they did a posting, on LinkedIn. They sent out emails to those postings. They put out videos throughout to really help their customers, introduce the website. And this is an example of what Dayton Lamina did.
So Diego, I'm not sure if the audio from the video is coming through, but essentially what we're looking at is a video from Dayton Lamina highlighting for their customers some of the key capabilities of the new e-commerce platform that they were launching. Obviously, professional video. I mean, it looks very good, very modern, and again highlights the key reasons why their customers should start using the platform. So Diego, I don't think we heard the audio from that, but anyways, I just wanted to step in and clarify.
All right, thank you, Jerry. Sorry about that, didn't realize. But yeah, exactly that. They put out the word out, basically. They've introduced their website. As you can see here, they had it ready. And then obviously they needed to make sure that customers were aware. So they hit social media outlets, LinkedIn, sent out emails, put out a introductory video of some of the capabilities to start getting the adoption rolling, getting customers in and start using the site for all of those capabilities. What are some of those capabilities that you need to think about? Well, let's move over to our demonstration site so that you can take advantage of some of the out-of-the-box capabilities that we introduce just by installing our solution into your JD Edwards environment. So let's go ahead and sign in via a return customer here so we can see some of those capabilities that a customer may have. So here I'm logging in as a return customer. I put in my credentials that I control. It validates who I am, and it immediately throws me onto a dashboard of information. Because a lot of times customers don't just want to buy; they want to know, well, what's the status of my order? Has it been shipped? Where is it? Do I have some open invoices? Do I need to make payment? Do I want to update any information regarding my ship to locations? What are some statistical information? What does my aging look like? From an account balance perspective versus my credit limit. What do I have available? Do I need to process any returns? What's the status of the return? Do I have to create any quotes? What's the status of the quote? Do I want to convert that quote into an order now? All of these capabilities that are typically done by a customer via a telephone, they have the ability to do self-service wise through a self-intuitive portal, being able to do something as simple as going into invoice history and maybe looking up an invoice because they need a physical copy of the invoice and just download the PDF directly so that they can just print it out to their local printer and have a local copy because somehow that the invoice got lost, the physical invoice, and they need it for their records. Things like that, the user can take advantage of without having to pick up the phone and call in. Or maybe they're looking for a particular part, or that they need to replace. Maybe a DeWalt drill that needs replacing, and being able to find that part quickly, just click into it and see their information regarding their product, see their pricing on their product coming real time from JD Edwards, see volume discounts from their product. For the product coming from JD Edwards, is it in stock and how many? See if it's available in other locations, and see maybe some specifications on it. Maybe I'm just reading up to see if it meets some standards on that product. If I wanted, how is it delivered? If I need more detailed specifications, or I just need to download a manual or guide to the product, as we saw earlier. So make it easy for the user to come to the website to answer their own questions, to be able to find what they need and quickly add it to their shopping cart and see the details regarding that product. As I mentioned, you want to always make sure that the information that they're seeing is relevant to them, their pricing, their warehouses, their availability. Key information regarding their product so that, they gain confidence. If it's sold in multiple units of measure out of, JD Edwards, well, what are the pack sizes for these units of measure? So if I buy a case, how many am I getting and what is the price? Or a pallet, how many am I getting and what is the price? All of those capabilities at their fingertips so that they can intuitively go through and purchase the products that they need. Maybe they want to buy it online and just pick it up at the store, and pick their warehouse location, drive by with their truck, and drop it into their truck and go through and purchase it and move on. So make it simple for them to do business with you, but also have reliable information that is consistent across all of the channels and verifying what it is that they need. And in some cases, you have to help them find their product. Things like product finders. Maybe they're uncertain of what they need, or maybe they're doing a contract job at one of their customers, and they're going through and trying to figure out, well, what's the right product to meet the needs that they're doing at their customer? Well, you can build product finders. Product finders are a series of questions that can drive the user to the answer. In this case, I'm looking for a new high definition TV. I'm remodeling a room for a customer of ours, and I'm a subcontractor and I need to purchase some electronics. I can walk them through sort of a step-by-step question and answer type to find the products that they need for what they're looking for. Well, I'm looking for a living room television, high definition, and it's got to be somewhere in the 50-inch range capabilities, and needs at least 3 HDMI ports. These questions are questions that you've pre-built to help your customers walk through these questions and be able to provide them the relevant products that meet their criteria. And then from there, they can easily select. Maybe they want to cross compare these products and see the differences, not only in pricing, but in feature functionality, in characteristics of this product, to see which one best fits what I'm trying to do. So as you can see, you have different capabilities, searches such as parts lists based on serial number or VIN number searches, catalog searches, enterprise searches based on keywords, but also product finder type searches that help the user sort of guided through a series of questions to be able to answer what it is that they're looking for. And obviously be able to do not just capabilities around commerce, but as we saw, order history coming out of JD Edwards. And as Jerry mentioned, the repository of information, the single source of the truth is always JD Edwards. None of this information is replicated to the website. No, we're pulling the information real time from JD Edwards based on who you are and what your security is to be able to view that information so that they can easily and quickly, drill down into the details of their order, see the order status, see the products that were purchased, be able to retrieve any information that they need and be able to see that information at their fingertips. And if they need to, from any historical order, be able to, repurchase that order and put it right back into their shopping cart. Because a lot of times buyers buy the same things. Maybe they want to build things like their own shopping lists or product lists of products. They can do that. And they may have and build different lists of products, weekly buys and monthly buys and so on. Or maybe they want to come and build their product lists or their products that they need to purchase outside of the website. And all they want to do is quickly come to the website and import their order via Excel, and bring it right into your JD Edwards, all of the products that they need, and then add it to their shopping cart and walk through and place an order. But all this time, seeing this information and being able to verify that they're getting their pricing. So, build their order outside, see their pricing, see their price breakdown, make sure that it all matches to what they're supposed to be getting. And then once they're ready, it's quickly a two-step checkout where you can drive them through an acceptance of terms and conditions to make sure that they accept those terms and conditions if you desire to do that, and then bring them through and do an order review for them to verify what they're doing and make sure that they are getting all the relevant information, how much is owed, total product, freight, calculate any freight costs through transportation, anything up front, so that they can see a complete picture of what this order is going to cost them, along with any, order level or basket level discountings through advanced pricing, being able to, if they require the entry of a PO, put in their PO number associated to their order. And as Jerry mentioned, give them multiple options on how to pay. Do I just want to buy against terms and credit limit? Do I want to pay with a credit card? Do I want to pay with a PayPal account or other alternative payment options? Do you have a points and reward system for, that typical frequent flyer type capability? All of those abilities available to the user so they have flexibility on how to do business with you and how to pay for that business. Place that order, walk away. I'm done for the day. My order's done as a buyer. I knew what I wanted, put it in and move on. So provide them all of the tools and capabilities that they need in an intuitive, easy to use website that they can manage their own capabilities, manage their own information, place orders, do their own research, and get the education that they need on your products and services and offerings that you offer. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn the presentation back. Obviously, this was just a quick snapshot of some of the capabilities, but we'll open it up for any questions
Excellent.
from the group.
Yeah, appreciate that walkthrough, Diego. So much to share. For the folks in the audience, I know some questions have been submitted. Hopefully we've shared some helpful responses. If you guys have any additional questions, any items that we did not get a chance to address during the actual demo or the webinar, we would be more than happy to engage with your team afterwards. Just for some final comments, everybody here will receive the recording to today's webinar as soon as tomorrow. Feel free to pass that along, and even folks that did register, did not participate, they'll also get the recording of the webinar. Appreciate everybody's time here. If you guys would like a more complete one-on-one walkthrough of SmarterCommerce e-commerce, or if your team is interested in launching an e-commerce project in the next few months and is just interested in discussing what that would look like, we're more than happy to schedule a call and kind of walk through that. Until then, rather, We look forward to helping all of our existing customers and look forward to any additional questions. Appreciate everybody's time today and have a wonderful rest of your week.